welcome back to the channel for another Mustang video. I know it took me a long time to get this video out to you guys. I cracked my windshield, taking it out of the 96 chassis. I had it about 98% removed, and I moved my wedges in too close together at the bottom driver's side corner, and it cracked. So, needless to say, I was a little upset about that, and my parents came to visit, and I just took some time off to reflect. Ultimately, I just decided to send it. It's really not in my budget right now to buy another windshield, and I've got a lot of other parts I still need to get my hands on. So, that being said, as you can tell, I got a lot done on the car. So, moving forward, I can't really do a whole lot until I get the paint and body work done. But we're going to jump on it as soon as we can, and hopefully soon this thing is back on the road and driving. Thanks for watching, and let's get to the footage. I've got my trans tunnel hump here for my manual shifter. I'm going to throw some paint on it and going to seam seal it into the car. I'm not really going to worry about welding it in. It's not really a structural piece, so I believe that the seam sealer will do just fine. Alright, got her all painted up and ready to go. I've got my carpet pulled back in the car, and I'm going to install my lower shift boot. That way I can center it up on the shifter to make sure my placement for my manual shift hump is correct. We'll go ahead and seam seal this thing down, and then we'll put the center console in. It is the next day, guys, and check this out. This thing is solid. It's not going anywhere. It's sealed up all the way around. We'll go ahead and throw our carpet back down, install our center console, our seat belt buckles, rear seat clips, and this vent. And we're going to throw the seats back in this thing just so I'm not sitting on a stack of books when I'm trying to move it around. And then we'll get to installing the front and rear inner bumper bash bars. And my lighting sucks, but damn, that looks good. I still need to get a new airbag for the steering wheel, and I need to paint the passenger side airbag, but it's starting to look really nice. Alright, now I'm getting ready to install my quarter window glass, and this seal is actually reusable because it never really hardens up. So you can play with it a little bit. And if you enjoyed playing with clay in art class when you was a kid, this is right up your alley. But just kind of stretch it out, make a little gasket, go all the way around your window with it, and hit it with a little heat, put it in, and then tighten the bolt here, use a cross pattern, tighten the bolt here, tighten the bolt here, tighten the bolt here, and then just keep bouncing around a little bit by a little bit until it's good and tight, and that'll seal up your window all the way around, and you'll be good to go. And there we go. Got both sides done. And now tomorrow we'll jump on installing the inner bumper bash bars and brackets. Alright guys, now that I've got the bumper bash bars installed, I've kind of hit a point where I can't really do much else until I finish the paintwork on this thing. And I got to go through a bunch of parts and figure out what I'm using, what I'm not using. And I did order a 3-row aluminum radiator for this thing. I found a decent deal on American Muscle for a new product. Getting that radiator for about 140 bucks, which is actually less than what I'd pay if I got a stock replacement or OEM replacement from a parts store. And that should be here in a couple days, and we'll go ahead and get that installed. But let's go ahead and pull these out. And I've got my trusty tape and Sharpie here. So I've got everything lined up exactly where I want it to sit. And I'm going to use my tape and my marker to mark it, because it's rather hard to do this by myself and I don't have the suction cups and stuff. So I'm going to mark everything where I can get it kind of lined up where it needs to be, and then set it in. And it's got these little blocks that it actually sits on, and you got to make sure that your sealant is thicker than those blocks all the way around to get a proper seal. That way you don't have any leaks or anything. So let's go ahead and mark our windshield, and we'll get this thing set in, and then we'll flip it around and we'll do the rear glass. this stuff, guys, is a bear. I would usually use a special gun for this, but this is all I got for now, and it takes a lot of force to get it out. So bear with me on this. We're gonna hopefully not bend this thing up too bad, but we need to run a bead all the way around, and then we'll set the windshield in. Alright, now we're going to flip the car around and do the rear window glass. I've got to glue my upper and lower trim back on. I'm just going to use some super glue for that, and don't worry about getting a little super glue on the glass because you can scrape that off with a razor blade. Alright guys, we've got our radiator in from American Muscle. We're going to go ahead and open this thing up and do our pre-installation inspection. Hopefully everything's good to go, because like I said, I've got a 98 to 04 radiator in the car now, and I had to cobble the fan together with parts from the 98 to 04 and the 96 to 97 to make it work. So hopefully this one's good to go so that we can put everything back the way it's supposed to be. So let's check this thing out and we'll get to the installation. Alright guys, the first thing I noticed pulling this thing out of the box is it is painted, which, I mean, it don't look bad. And what can you expect for 150 bucks for an all aluminum 3-row radiator? But everything looks good. No broken parts, bent tabs. I don't see any holes in the welds. It looks like a solid piece. So we'll make sure that our fan shroud works. And it does. So we can go ahead and yank this one out, get this one reassembled, and get it installed in the car. Let's get after it. All right, let's start her up, get her up to operating temperature, and continue to top off and burp our cooling system, and make sure our fans kick on, and see if we're good to go. It's getting up to temperature now, so the fan should be kicking on any time. And there she goes. I think we're golden. And the fan just kicked back off. And we'll double check, make sure she's going to cycle correctly. We'll continue to let her run and make sure our system gets burnt properly. We don't want any air cracking the line to cause potential overheating. Cycling. Everything looks good to go, guys. We'll shut her down and let her cool off. Alright guys, I think that's about a wrap for this video. I did find that the radiator mounts on the 98 chassis are just a smidge further apart than the 96 and 97 chassis. But thankfully the passenger lower radiator mount has a nice wide bracket on it, and I think I can notch that out and move my rubber mount over just enough to where that'll sit down in there where it needs to. It's currently just kind of sitting in there, but we got it all installed, and we've kind of hit a point in the road where we can't really go any further until I finish the paint and body work, and hopefully we'll be getting that done soon. I apologize for it taking so long for me to get this video out to you guys, but we're so close now. This thing's So close to being done. There are a bunch of parts that I still need to acquire, but we're going to continue with the paint and body work next and hopefully get this thing reassembled and back on the road. And as always, guys, your project is not going to finish itself unless you put your hands on it. So that being said, like, share, and subscribe, guys, and thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.